A lot of you may have, hopefully you remember your Sudden Impact program where we did the class report of this when you guys were sophomores, right? Where you learned about the dangers of drinking, driving, impaired driving, the dangers of not wearing your seatbelt. What you're about to watch, and I really hope you put yourself in this position, because the reality is it could happen to you. Right now, I've written 17 death notifications this year. I know you guys have been touched by death at your school. Maybe not car crashes directly recently, but it's still a loss. And I think we need to remember that the number one killer of you guys' age is not suicide, it's not gunshots, it's not death by cancer or anything like that. While that does happen, what you're looking at behind me is the number one reason you guys will be brought to a hospital, the number one reason why you guys may die. So please, let's take this serious, if you don't mind. For a little while, put yourself in this position and ask yourself, what would I do if I was in this position? What would you do if you were in this position?
It is extremely dark. It is quiet. You hear brakes screeching and a loud noise. It sounded similar to a small explosion. As you pull to the shoulder, you realize the horrific sound was two cars that were just involved in a violent high-speed collision at Highway 347. There is glass everywhere. The cars are crushed and there's no movement coming from either car. Although emergency vehicles are en route, at this time, there are no sirens to be heard, not even in the distance. No help in sight, and the golden hour of trauma has already started. Time is clicking. The driver of the Dodge Neon is Blaine. She and her passenger Jalen were drinking at a party. As she approached the red light, Blaine was texting her dad to let him know she was on her way. Just a simple OMW on the keyboard. According to a witness, it was clearly evident that she was not going to stop. There was no braking, as if she didn't even see the red light. The cell phone distraction and impairment are a fatal, yet preventable combination. Her passenger screamed and Blaine swerved to avoid the oncoming vehicle, but it was impossible. The impairment increased her reaction time and decreased her reflexes, resulting in a head-on collision. Blaine was wearing a seatbelt, escaping injury and allowing her to immediately exit the vehicle. Blaine notices Jalen, her front seat passenger, who is partially ejected through the front windshield, not moving and not responding.
Oh my God. Jalen! Hold my hand. Come on, Jay. Stay with me, Jay. Stay with me, Jalen. Stay, Jay. Somebody help us! Help! Somebody help! Help us! Jay, come on, Jay. Stay with me, Jay. Stay with me, Jay. Stay, Jay. Jalen. Help! Somebody help! Help us! Help!
With no seatbelt, Jalen, the front seat passenger, was thrown through the windshield. Her eyes are open, but she's not responding to Blaine's screams. Her only chance to survive this severe crash was to lessen the force on her body by wearing a seatbelt. At this point, the only thing Blaine can do for her is to wait for immediate medical assistance. There are no sirens to be heard. Seconds are becoming minutes, and the golden hour of trauma is ticking. Mason and Landon were also on their way home from the same party. Mason refused to allow Landon to drive, as she witnessed him consume several drinks. Due to seatbelt usage, Mason is conscious and able to free herself. She is sober, aware of the crash, her surroundings, and clearly saw Blaine cross the center line. Unfortunately, Landon, the unrestrained front seat passenger, was thrown with such force that his body is pinned under the dashboard. Landon has obvious severe injuries to his face and head from striking the windshield and what appears to be several broken bones. He is conscious but unable to free himself as the door cannot be opened due to the vehicle damage. His screams are shrilling and indicate that he's in a tremendous amount of pain. The answers to Mason's questions just aren't making sense. To understand the amount of force on the body, simply calculate his weight times the speed of the vehicle. It is just too much force on the body and the internal organs. The golden hour of trauma continues to tick. There are still no sirens to be heard.
Okay, Jay, stay with me, Jay. Stay with me, Jay. Stay.
What happened? Oh my gosh. Landon, are you okay? Landon, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? I can't get you out. I can't. Blaine, you were driving? You were the one who hit us. You were drinking at that party. What are you doing driving? Look what you did. Why would you be driving?
I did not do this.
You were
I
drinking.
didn't
You
do
told
this.
me to bring you home.
If you seen I was driving, why you didn't come? Why you didn't stop me? Why you didn't? I didn't do this.
This is your
I didn't do
fault.
this.
This is
I did not do this.
No,
I didn't do this. No, I didn't.
Look,
You
what's
did
this?
this. You
What's
did
wrong
this.
with Jalen? Is
You
Jalen
did this.
okay?
Come on, Jay.
Okay.
Come on, Jay. It's all right. Stay with me, Jay. Stay up. Get up, Jay. Come on, Jay. Get up.
Landon, are you okay?
Get up, Jay.
Are you okay?
In many cases, emergency personnel must drive several miles to reach the scene of a crash. So the first person may not arrive for 10 to 15 minutes. Getting to the scene can be hectic. Emergency personnel may be slowed by motorists who fail to yield to the lights and sirens. Plus, they must navigate around stopped traffic at the crash scene. For Landon and Jalen, they just cannot arrive soon enough. Assistance must be rendered rapidly if Landon and Jalen are going to survive. The golden hour of trauma continues to tick. Finally, Blaine and Mason can hear the faint sound of sirens in the distance. The sirens begin to get louder and louder, and their only hope is that help is on the way. Trooper Lopez will be the first to arrive on the scene and will emergently try to evaluate the condition of the victims.
Glenn, I can't believe you were drinking and driving.
Why didn't you stop me?
You swerved and all.
Why you didn't stop me? You should have been
Why
paying
did you
attention.
cut my lane?
You
I
should
was
have been paying
paying
attention. I can't tell.
You were texting.
Be so for real. If you see me texting, you should have seen that I was.
You sound dumb. You drunk. Stop
The scene
talking.
is chaotic, but Trooper Lopez can clearly recognize that this is a terrible crash, possibly fatal or for one or more of the victims. Trooper Lopez notices the absence of skid marks from the Dodge Neon, indicating that Blaine clearly crossed the center line. Could this be from some form of distraction or impairment? He assesses the situation, gathers statements, and knows that he will need to reconstruct the entire crash. He soon realizes that he cannot do this alone. This is a multi-person response, so he calls for backup. You can hear additional faint sirens in the background. More assistance is on the way. Is this crash due to driver inexperience, impairment, speed, distractions,
We're gonna need a Acadian
aggressive or
ambulance.
careless maneuvers?
Advise Acadian and the fire district. They need to step it up. We have one ejection,
Can you hold my phone,
non-responsive, and one trapped in the vehicle. Advise them they need to hurry up.
please? It's okay.
Table, fire away.
Look, she hit us, and now my friend is hurt. What am I supposed to do? It's not my
Look,
fault.
calm down for a minute. We have help in route, okay?
It's okay, lady. It's okay. Blaine. Oh my gosh.
Can you tell me what happened? Look,
Okay,
walk away.
so we were all at a party. Blaine was drinking. So I'm driving, and she swerves in my lane and hits.
Okay.
She was drinking.
You the driver?
That is true. You're lying.
Did you
That's
have
not
your seatbelt on?
Yes, I did.
How about your passenger?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Ma'am, look, can you come talk to me for a second?
Fire and rescue has arrived on the scene. They will assume the care of the victims, treating the most severely injured first. Jalen's injuries were too severe. She's no longer breathing. Fire and rescue were determined that Jalen's death is dead and dispatched a coroner. There would be no immediate effort to remove her body from the wreck. Her lifeless body will remain untouched until the evidence is gathered for the investigation. Someone in the immediate near future is going to receive the horrific news.
It's not nothing. You're acting like it's not
Do you
nothing.
not see her?
I see her, but it's your fault.
Region 2.
It's your fault.
No, it's not.
It's your fault. I didn't do this.
No,
I didn't do this.
Bro, oh my gosh.
I didn't do
23.
10-4, can you contact the coroner's office? Advise on one confirm.
10-4, corner route.
It's okay. They're coming to get you out, Lynn. They're coming to get you out. Is she okay?
Does she look okay?
As the golden hour continues to tick, EMS personnel will arrive and administer medical attention to the severely injured Queen Landon,
Come on, Jay.
as he is the most critical at this time.
Hey.
While addressing Landon's medical needs, they determine that he is trapped inside the vehicle and they are unable to remove him from the wreckage or provide further medical care without the rescue unit. He remains conscious and in great amount of pain. He is scared, screaming, and his injuries seem really severe.
I called your mom. She's gonna be pissed at us all. Are y'all gonna help him?
Medical staff will turn their attention to Blaine and Mason. However, due to seatbelt usage, they have very mild bruising and abrasions.
It's not my fault.
The first 60 minutes following a severe injury crash is the most critical time period, and that golden hour continues to tick. Landon is screaming in pain. However, his screams are becoming weaker, and he is not following commands. His vital signs are deteriorating, and it's just not looking good. Paramedics determined that Blaine clearly does not require medical transport. However, Mason should be examined, and Landon needs immediate transport once extracted. Both will be transported via ambulance. What if we could just turn back time to make a better choice? What would the outcome have been different?
No, I didn't. You're lying. No, you're not. No, I'm not.
Stand right here. Look, have you had anything to drink tonight?
Only like 2 drinks.
About 2 drinks, we're going to perform a couple of tests to you, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to put your feet together and put your hands by your side, okay? You see the tip of my finger? I want you to follow it with your eyes and your eyes only. Do not move your head, okay? Don't move your head. Okay, what I want you to do now is I want you to take your right foot and place it in front of your left foot and heel to a position, okay? Put your hands by your side. When I tell you to start, I want you to take 9 heel-to-toe steps, looking down at the tip of your feet, count out loud. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. When you get to 9, leaving your front foot planted, take a small series of steps and return the way you went. Okay, do you understand? Okay, you can begin.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, what I want you to do now is I want you to put your feet together and keep your hands by your side. When I tell you to start, I want you to lift any foot of your choice, approximately 6 inches off the ground, leaving your foot plant parallel to the ground. Count out loud, 1001, 1002, so on and so forth, okay, till I tell you to stop. You can begin.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Okay, look, put your hand, Ms. Thibodeau.
Yes, sir.
Okay, look, Ms. Thibodeau, go ahead and put your hands behind your back.
For what?
You're-
Why?
You're being placed under
No,
arrest.
I didn't do this. Stop. This is not my
Look,
fault. Stop.
calm down. You're being placed under arrest for DWI, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be.
This is
used
not
against you
right.
in
I didn't do
court of law.
this.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you before any
This is
question.
not right.
You can decide at any time.
I'm calling my
exercise
mom.
your
Mom will be
right.
here shortly. This is
If
not
not,
right.
Trooper Lopez has completed a field of sobriety test. It has been determined that Blaine was 16 and should not have been driving at the time of the night per her driving restrictions. It is obvious that she is impaired. The trooper arrests for Blaine for DWI. Blaine will also submit a blood test. She will be booked with vehicular homicide and first-degree vehicular negligence and injury, two very serious criminal arrests. As the trooper transports Blaine to St. Martin Parish Jail, you can hear the sirens of Acadian EMS unit in the distance. Cliche of a seatbelt can be a life or death is taking a true meaning. The golden hour of trauma continues to tick as Landon is trapped in the vehicle. Extraction has already taken time as the door was already cut open to safely remove Landon from the vehicle. The tools that were used were rescue personnel were using was a Hearst rescue tool, commonly referred to as the jaws of life. The sprayers can exert enough force to cut the metal, using the necessary tools to place victims and rescuers in danger. However, they are highly trained in extraction. After the vehicle frame is cut away from Landon's body using the jaws of life, Landon will be placed on the backboard with spinal precautions, keeping the vertebrae in line. Trooper Lopez arrives at lockup where Blaine will be processed and booked. Blaine's anxiety is high as she now realizes that her decisions are responsible for her friend's injuries and the death of her good friend Jalen. Blaine's parents intercept them when they arrive at lockup. Although she has no criminal record, her child is in handcuffs for a criminal offense. Her mother is anxious, confused, and angry. The number of questions racing through her mind is endless. Yet, she's still unaware of the totality of the situation. Why is my child being in handcuffs?
Look, ma'am, she's been involved in a very serious crash, and she's driving, and she's under the influence of alcohol.
What did you do?
I didn't do this.
What do I have to do?
Right now, you should contact a lawyer because
A lawyer? What type of lawyer?
a criminal lawyer.
Criminal?
Yes, ma'am, she's being charged.
No, she's not a criminal.
She's being charged with vehicle homicide. Her friend
No,
that was in the car
no.
was ejected and died.
Died?
She's dead.
Blaine, really?
I didn't do this.
You
Somebody hit
killed
us.
someone?
She hit us.
That's not what they're saying. He's
Got it
saying
wrong.
something different.
They got it
And
wrong.
she was the driver.
Wow, Blaine, really? You serious? You just lost everything. So now I'm gonna be out of a job, everything I have to support this situation. Are you serious?
Look,
Really?
I strongly suggest you contact a criminal attorney.
Criminal. Once again, she's not a criminal. She is not a criminal.
We're gonna go submit to a chemical test for intoxication, and it should be booked into the parish jail.
Blaine, oh my God. Booked into- What am I gonna do?
Let's go.
What am I going to do?
Due to the severity of the injuries, the victims will be transported to the only level 2 trauma center in the region, Ochsner Lafayette General. The trauma center has the resources and services needed to rapidly treat multi-system trauma. The serious head injury, along with chest, internal, and orthopedic injuries sustained by Landon. The trauma system has been activated and the team is anxiously awaiting the arrival of Landon. An announcement is made overhead.
Attention, we have a level 1 and a level 2 coming in. We have a 16-year-old male, GCS 5, hemodynamically unknown. We also have a 15-year-old male that is GCS 15 and stable. What's his name?
Immediate life-saving measures are necessary for Landon to survive. The assessment is fast, as trauma is a time-sensitive illness.
Do we have pulses? Do you have any breath sounds? Landon, can you hear me? Landon. All right, we're going to have to intubate. Let's get him to the CT scanner immediately. Bag him up. Let's hang those 2 units of blood, get him started. All right. We'll get him to the CT scanner.
The entire team has worked tirelessly. Dr. Mosier has noticed a shallow breathing on an unconscious patient and chose to intubate Landon and place him on a ventilator for support. Landon is diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury. The blood is evacuated from his head, leaving a bolt to measure the residual pressure. This is an emergent attempt to lessen the impact of the head injury. He is so unstable that his orthopedic or bone injuries haven't even been addressed yet, only splinted for immobilization. The pulse in his legs are weak and there are obvious deformities, indicating multiple broken bones. He is also receiving several units of blood, as he has a ruptured spleen and kidney. This will prevent further traumatic shock. Dr. Mosier has been notified of the presence of his family and is ready to deliver the devastating news.
Let's get him to the ward for his evacuation of hematoma from his brain. I'm going to talk with the family. How you doing, ma'am? My name is Dr. Mosier. I'm one of the trauma critical care surgeons here. Your son was involved in a very serious accident and has a large bleed on his brain. He also has several broken bones that aren't going to be addressed right now because we're trying to take care of his brain first. He has some internal organ injuries that we are monitoring with close low monitoring and giving him blood for those. But this is a very serious situation. If he makes it out of this, I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't think he's going to be the same son that you have. It's touch and go right now. It's very critical. He could make it all the way back, or he couldn't. But either way, he's going to have to relearn how to do everything: walk, talk, write, read, everything. Not anytime soon.
Landon remains in very critical condition. Traumatic brain injuries result in life-altering changes. If he survives, he will need to learn basic fine motor skills again, like eating, talking, walking. He will be in physical therapy for years to rebuild his muscle strength. In speech therapy, he will learn to pronounce words and formulate sentences. His parents are devastated and just wish they could turn back time. Mason's injuries are not as severe, and her vital signs are stable. It's hard to imagine that the simple click of a seatbelt is a matter of life or death. Mason will be discharged, and Landon is fighting for his life. We now focus on the fatality. Jalen's lifeless body remains at the scene as the coroner is en route to confirm the death and prepare the corpse for transport to the morgue. The coroner's office is a witness to many preventable tragedies involving decisions behind the wheel. It is difficult knowing that a more responsible decision could have been resulted in a completely different outcome. As Jalen's body is removed, the coroner noticed Jalen's Burbridge High School ID. What started out as a fun night at a house party will be remembered by all as a tragedy. Lives destroyed by dangerous decisions. A 16-year-old Burbridge student should not be placed in a body bag. Someone will have to make the dreadful decision of the clothing that she wears in a casket. Remember, this was preventable. Why should anyone ever have to make that decision for a 16-year-old? Her locker will remain empty with a cross on the outside. The empty chair at graduation will be a painful sight. Do we leave it open to honor her, or fill the chair to avoid the pain and reminder? Decisions have a lifetime of consequences. Jalen's body will be transported to the coroner's office. The absolute hardest part of law enforcement's job must follow. State Police prepares for death notification to Jalen's family. Trooper Lopez with Louisiana State Police is handling the death notification. While en route, Trooper Lopez has reviewed what he will say and how he will approach the family. Although it never happens the way it is planned, no matter how many times he has done a death notification, there's just no easy way. As he approaches the home, it is quite dark outside. He notices a small light on the porch left on by Jalen's dad, waiting for her arrival home. He knocks at the front door and Jalen's dad approaches. He sees a trooper, opens the door quickly, but is confused as to his arrival.
How's it going, man? I'm Trooper Lopez with Louisiana State Police. You mind if I step in? You mind if I step in? Okay, thank you. Think you want to grab a seat right here? Are you Jalen's father?
Jalen, yes.
Okay.
What happened to Jalen? Jalen got a ticket?
Well, she's been involved in a crash, okay?
No, that can't be. That can't be. I just talked to her.
She's been involved in a very serious crash.
Come on, pick up Jalen. Pick up Jalen. Hold on. Is she all right?
Look, I want to let you know she was the passenger in the crash and she was ejected from the vehicle and she's dead.
Oh my God, none of my baby girl. Oh, pardon me, God.
You okay?
No, I'm not okay.
Look, grab a seat, okay? Grab a seat in the chair. Grab a seat
My
in the
baby
chair.
girl. Call her mom. Call her mom.
Listen. My condolences goes out to you and the family.
Trooper Lopez has tried his hardest to bring the tragic news to Jalen's dad as gently as possible. He has offered his condolences. After consoling Jalen's dad, Trooper Lopez departs with great sadness, questioning the decision to speed, text, driving impaired, and lack of seatbelts. Upon leaving, he witnesses the pain endured by the family, and this is just the beginning. The funeral, the family, the friends, classmates, and others involved in the crash. As he exited the home, he noticed the family portrait above the fireplace. He can't help but to stop for a moment and think about how preventable the entire situation was for all parties involved. Another teen injury, another teen death. Motor vehicle crashes are not simple. They are violent events that effects are far greater than the average person can comprehend. Crashes severely injure and kill people every day. They are preventable and result from poor decisions. They do not discriminate. They are permanent and unexpected. You've witnessed an enactment of a motor vehicle crash. Now, what will your decisions be? Because the consequences never go away. We would like to remind you that you're always one decision away from a different life.
Hello, my name is Paisley, and I was one of Jalen's good friends. Thank you, everyone, for being here today and showing Jalen's family support in this time of their lives. It is so amazing to see how many people cared about my best friend and how many lives she's affected. To me, she wasn't just Jalen, she was my best friend, a shoulder to cry on, a person who made the best red velvet cakes, a person who loves her shoes, but most importantly, she was a Cowboys fan. Me and Jalen go way back to the 8th grade. We took English class together and I spoke first to ask to see her schedule. Ever since then, me and Jalen have been inseparable. Through our differences, I learned how to forgive and love unconditionally. Jalen had so much love for her sports, and I was always there to support her. She enjoyed both basketball and track. She didn't just enjoy these sports, but she was a star athlete. She was a great leader for these teams and always accomplished her goals. She is loved by many for her exciting, energetic, and compassionate personality. To this day, that is what she will always be known and loved for. You will truly be missed, Jalen. Make it a party up there for us. Love, Casey.
On behalf of the team members involved in today's crash, we ask that you make a commitment to always wear your seatbelt in the front and rear seats. Never drive intoxicated. Never get into the vehicle with an intoxicated driver. Never text and drive, and to develop a plan with your parents or trusted adult to avoid a high-risk situation. Please join me in a round of applause for your student actors, Blaine, Jalen, Mason, and Landon. To the Louisiana State Police, Acadian Ambulance, St. Martin Parish Corners, Oxnard Lafayette General, St. Martin Fire District, Pellerin Funeral Home, James Allen Montoni, Blaine Makeup Artist, and your outstanding faculty at Brobridge High School. We would like to have all mock crash participants step forward to the center. We will answer any questions that you may have.
All right, once again, let's have a round of applause for our actors. I think Landon might have had the toughest job. You did a good job grunting. Okay, so good job, Landon. All right, guys, it is kind of funny to watch some of them act because we don't really have theater and acting at Brobridge High School. So to see them actually do this, I know some of y'all were kind of laughing and kind of caught up in it. But the message is real, guys. I think something that she said when they went to her and when they arrested her, her comment was, "I'm calling my mama." That comment is said a lot when you get in trouble here, but it may also be said at a crash scene. But guys, if you make a poor decision, there's not much that your mom and daddy can do. Okay, so I need you to think about that. Think about that decision first, but also what's going to happen, okay? Because there's only so much that your parents can do, okay? If that situation happens and you're that person that's driving, they can get a lawyer, but not much can be done with something like this. So just keep that in mind, okay? Thank you all for being attentive. If there's any questions, and I know the troopers and some of these guests may have other things to say, but that's my message to you guys, because it is said often. I'm calling my mama. They can only do so much, okay?
Guys, he's absolutely right. Here's the problem. At this point, now you're looking at being booked into prison. You're going to have to bond out. That's not a preset bond. You're going to have to, a judge is going to set a bond, especially on a vehicular homicide, vehicular negligent injury. Remember from your class, vehicular homicide is what? Impairment and a motor vehicle. It doesn't matter what the impairment is. Now keep in mind too, in this event, both drivers are going to be tested. Both drivers will have to be tested. Even though she did nothing wrong, she's still going to have to submit blood by law. So, or a breath test or an evaluation of some sort. So she could still walk away if you were drinking. You would still have a DWI at a minimum, not be charged with a vehicular homicide. So that's the danger with getting behind the wheel, having, I know a lot of people think marijuana is harmless, and Unfortunately, it's not legal. Even with a prescription, you still can't drive behind the wheel. I can't have doc send me a pain prescription and me get behind the wheel when I'm intoxicated by drugs. Even with that prescription, it doesn't save you from the impairment. So please keep that in mind as well. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? I know a lot of people ask if this is real, like this is real. This is calm compared to what it normally is. This is a calm scene. I know we can only do so much with that many people, but a lot of times we got him out fairly quickly, I think. Okay, y'all did a great job getting them out, but guess what? That's if they're showing up. That's if we're showing up. That's if we're going to show up because you found somebody to come help. What happens if you're in the middle of nowhere, cane feels all the way around, and nobody even sees this crash has occurred yet? And you're sitting there for 30, 45 minutes before the first call is made. That's where it really becomes scary, especially when Doc has to go and try to fix the problems there, and it's already been 2-3 hours later. Question? Yes, she asked, in real life, would Jalen be sitting right there that long? Absolutely. Several hours is very possible. Why? Because the coroner is the only person who can move a body. Now, we can move a fire, if fire and police, we can move the body if the cars are catching on fire or something to preserve the scene. But other than that, we're not, the only person that can move the body really is the coroner at that point. Okay? Once he determines there's death, then we can go ahead and take it from there. Yeah, good question. Any other questions? How did you guys feel in this situation? I mean, what would be your message? Just a real short, like, oh man, this is something that really bothered me or touched me.
It was like, I didn't, like, in this situation, I didn't do anything wrong. But also, like, after the crash, like, seeing the aftermath, I was helped. Like, I couldn't do anything about it. Like, I was just looking at him in pain, looking at Jalen, like, dead on the hood. I couldn't do anything. I was just standing there, just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, like, half the time, I couldn't find my phone. I couldn't call for help, didn't hear help. And so it was like, you just helpless.
I think she's totally right, that helplessness feeling, because really, you are completely helpless at that point, right? There's nothing you can do. He was completely pinned until they get the jaws of life and spreaders and cut him out. That's all we can do. He can possibly be sitting there bleeding out, and there's nothing we can do about that. Doc, any words?
Don't drive drunk. There's 3 places you're going to end up if you do. Handcuffs, the graveyard, and in the hospital. And if you make it to the hospital, you're not guaranteed to come out. So, and I see it time in and time out. We have several patients right now that are of your age in the hospital right now because of this exact reason. So don't do it. It's not worth it. Your parents want to see you tomorrow. So thank y'all.
Yesterday, I did a death notification to the news media for my 17th fatal crash. There was a head-on collision on the frontage road at 8:30 yesterday morning. Dr. Mosier's the one who pronounced the person dead at the hospital. Guys, it happens every day. Every 9 hours and a few minutes in Louisiana, somebody dies. Every 3 minutes there's a crash. Every 7 minutes there's a crash with injury. Please do us a favor. Don't get in the car with an impaired driver. Don't drive impaired. And please always wear your seatbelt, no matter what seating position you're in. Speeding and texting are huge issues as well. Huge issues as well. The faster the crash, the more the damage, the more the injury. The less effective the seatbelts are, and the less effective the airbags are. So I hope you guys take something from this. When you get behind the wheel of the car, please let that picture stay in your mind today. Thank y'all. Any other questions? Y'all anxious to go back to class? I like it. Awesome. All right. Yeah, no.
Is there a question or no? Okay. Guys, I'm going to say this, okay? As a parent, I did tell my kids, you know, I may be aggravated if you call at 1 or 2 in the morning and I'm in a good sleep, but I would much rather see you the next morning than not see you. And I know your parents feel the same way. So, come up with a plan. I know prom's coming up April 1st, and then I know there's some private parties and things that are going to happen after that. Come up with a plan, and don't think that you're invincible, okay? I'm telling you right now, you might get punished. You may, your parents may be upset. But the next morning, when you're alive, they're going to be happy and you're going to be happy. So talk with your parents, make a plan that if something happens, if the person you went with is drunk or impaired, have a plan to call someone so they can come get you. I wish I could give my cell phone number to you guys, but I'm not going to do that because you're going to call me at all hours of the night just to mess with me. But I did it when I coached softball. I did it for my softball players, and they knew if something was happening, they could call me and I would go pick them up. Okay, so, but do that with your parents. Get a plan. Do what you need to do so you can come back to school and graduate.
Guys, the funny thing about a plan is, how many of you guys know what you're going to be dressing up like for prom yet? How many of you guys have everything set? Right? I mean, y'all have that already planned. Y'all know where y'all going after. Y'all know how y'all getting there. Let's go one step further. Let's have a plan on how to get home safely. That's all I ask. Okay? That's all I ask. Anything else? Anybody else? You good? All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. If anyone, I mean, like I said, it was kind of light. Some there was a little bit of giggling and stuff. But if anyone does need to talk to a counselor, we will have counselors up front if need be. If not, it is 10:25. So go ahead and report back to your class at this time. All right. Thank you.